Heels Podcast. One handsome devil. Your host, Jack Purcell. Scissor me, daddy ass. Louis Perry, your co-host. Don't forget to subscribe and click the bell. Faces and Heels Podcast.
Welcome to the Faces and Heels Podcast. And tonight, Louis Perry, Jack Purcell, you're joining us. We're standing right on the corner of Royal Rumble Avenue and WrestleMania Drive.
You know what? I'll let you have that one. That was pretty creative. It's probably because you hung out with me last Saturday night and ate my food and
yeah, rubbed right off on me.
yeah, I know, it did. I'm still tired from Saturday night, man. After you left, I went right to bed. I was. What did you? Hey, Eric is in the house. Good evening, fellas. Good evening, Eric. How you
what's
doing?
happening?
Your overall thoughts of the Rumble? I hit everything correctly during the Rumble except for Alexa and Bianca. I went for Alexa to win, but that's the only thing I got wrong all night long. Other than that, I was banging it, man. I hit everything. I even called Ripley coming out number one, if you recall.
You did. I think we both had one wrong. I believe we were tied that night.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, first of all, thank you for the hospitality. That was awesome. We had a great time.
That wasn't me. That was Rose. I didn't want you to come over. I mean, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Rose actually asked me if the kids were coming over. I said, no, I said, it's just Jack. Just Jack is coming over. But hey, at any time, the Geek Lair is always open for you, brother. You know that. Eric says he went 8 out of 10.
All right, Eric, nice job. Nice. Are you rating it 8 out of 10, or did you get 8 out of 10? Because there weren't 10 matches.
No, I think he's rating it 8 out of 10. That's what I believe.
Yeah.
We're waiting for another comment to come up. For the Rumble itself, I'm going to rate it. I'll go with Eric at 8 out of 10. It was. I mean, I was calling the people coming to the ring as well. I was only a couple of the entries, or participants rather, off. You know, I was, this person's coming out, this person's coming out. So we were correct there. The Women's Rumble, I thought was better than the Men's Rumble for sure.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, this is one of the most predictable pay-per-views they've ever had, but it was also really entertaining, and I think the actual wrestling was better than it's been in a while, and there's several reasons for that, I'm sure. Chris agrees. Excellent, Chris.
Thank you, Pixie.
Predictable but entertaining. So I don't necessarily have a problem with it being predictable. I think, despite the fact that I can't figure out why I have this craving to drink some pitch black Mountain Dew, I love the Bray Wyatt LA Knight match. I thought the presentation really creative, extremely well done. Anybody who wants to talk shit about it, I mean, I think it was really good. And I don't really think there's anything to criticize about it. It was very well done in terms of the presentation.
Yeah, I think so too. And I think we're going to see the metamorphosis of Alexa Bliss at WrestleMania. I think we're going to see it at Mania where she finally turns and goes with the Wyatt Six. So I think that storyline is going to continue until Mania. That's when she's finally going to turn. I thought the Lights Out match was good. I really did. And I loved it. You didn't watch the press conference afterwards.
No, I watched it.
Oh, you did? Okay. And I thought that was pretty cool. And he was very humble during Everyone was. Um, I thought it. Well, Neil.
Neil says
Co-
the Bray LA match was extremely, well, sorry, was awesome, especially for the first match back for him. I'm biased, but I swear that man can't miss. He's extremely intelligent and creative, no doubt.
Yeah, no doubt. I'm sitting here in the Geek Lair, and of course, Neil was over. Neil came home for the event,
He did.
and he brought his Uncle Howdy mask. So, any of you felt following us on social media, they saw a quick video we put together. That was actually my son with his Uncle Howdy mask on. I'm looking over to the side, and my Shakespeare bust from '66 Batman kind of looks like the Uncle Howdy mask. If you look at it, I'm not going to put it on camera now, but I just looked over and it kind of reminded me of that. Eric has a comment, Jack.
Eric says this match was different, and sometimes different is a good thing. No doubt. I mean, WWE's needed something different for a few years now, pretty desperately. So, I mean, Triple H, honestly, like this is about when I thought he was going to get things on track. If we listen back to this podcast a few months back when Vince, quote unquote, retired, this is when I thought things would start getting on track. And I think it has. And I think the Elimination Chamber may surprise us how strong that is.
Well, I'm watching the. I was just watching Raw before we came on, and right now the Elimination Chamber participants, I'm not too much impressed with them. The men's Elimination Chamber, it's to me we only have Gargano, Rollins. That's about it. Theory, I don't like Theory. I can't get behind him. I don't. I just can't. I can't at all. It's just like Lacey Evans. You can't get behind her. She's not likable. No matter how hard they're pushing her, you know, you just can't get behind her.
Yeah, I'm with you. We got J.A. Ledford tuning in saying, sadly, I missed it. Looks like it was fantastic. It was good, man. I gotta say, I have zero problem with this Royal Rumble. The fact that Piper Niven is now Piper Niven again,
Oh, thank the Lord.
big
Thank the
smile
Lord.
on Lewis's face and my face, and I think Cody and Neil. I mean, there you go. We
Even
got
Rose, even Rose was happy.
nice.
You,
Well, I
you
mean,
know?
but here you go. I mean, this is the kind of stuff like bit by bit, Triple H is kind of rebuilding things, whether or not there's even any fanfare around it. I love that Pat McAfee came out at the beginning. I like him
Mhm.
a lot. I wish he had been in the Royal Rumble, but whatever. He's great on commentary. That was awesome. And it felt like a genuine moment, whether it was or not.
Yeah. Well, Michael Cole looked really surprised.
He did. He did. It looked
He did.
genuine.
He looked genuinely surprised. Getting back to Piper, she the only thing I could have done without was all of the dewdrop references.
Oh
I'm
my
like,
God.
guys, yes, she used to be called
You got it.
Dewdrop. We know, but please, please. And Eric is a man after my own heart. Jack,
Asuka's entrance was a top spot for me for sure. Love the reveal
oh
of the face paint. Awesome.
my God, I got goosebumps right now. Jack actually said, "Oh, here's your woman." I was like, "Yeah." Did you see what she looked like on Raw? Oh my Jesus, be still
Yeah.
my heart. Yeah, it's like, yeah, she is definitely she's back, back. Um, the surprise entries were kind of a letdown. At least we didn't get
Oh,
that. At least
Chelsea
we did.
Green was a letdown.
No. I'm talking about for the men. For the men,
Oh,
Chelsea Green was a letdown. She did the bushwhacker Luke. She got in the ring, got out of the ring. What the hell was that? You
that
you
was
know
lame. But the fact that she's back, which it looks to be like she's back, we'll see on
she
SmackDown.
was on Monday Night Raw last night.
Oh, was she? Okay, I didn't see
Yeah,
that.
but
I didn't
only
see the whole
for
promo.
to demand Swiss chocolate and fresh bottled water. That was all.
Nice. Okay, good. I'm really, really glad. I want to see Matt Cardona return too.
And Eric says beautiful.
Yes.
Um, yeah, you think Matt is going to come back?
I mean, imagine this. So it's like bringing Zack Ryder back, but he has a new lease on life because he's Matt Cardona. There's so many creative things you could do. And look how creative Triple H and his crew have been with a
Hmm.
lot of the storylines. I mean, it's not just the bloodline. That's been great. There's a lot of really fun things they've been doing, a lot of attention to detail. And I think there's so much they could do to knock that out of the park.
Well, I would have done the thing with the bloodline just a little bit different with Sammy, and I think you were still here at the house when I said this. Um, I still would have had the Sammy hit Roman with the chair, but I would have had him do it just a little bit different. I would have had him just say, "Go ahead, do it," and had Sammy go to look like he was going to hit Kevin, and just spin around and just let him see it coming, or just had it back in the day chair shot when someone turned on someone. You know what I mean? Because it just looked, you knew it was coming the way Roman played it out. I mean,
Yeah.
it should have been more of a surprise. It should have been, like, oh my God, you didn't see it coming, but you knew what it was. I think just Roman didn't sell it good enough. Remember when Rollins hit Seth with the chair? You didn't see that coming, but you saw this one coming. I mean, and it was heartbreaking how they beat that living hell out of Sammy. I mean, I felt more bad for Sammy than I did KO. And it was just like, wow. Chris Hebert comes in with a comment.
Chris says, congratulations to Cody Rhodes. Not a fan, but well deserved. Yeah,
All right,
I'm
one
with you.
second, Chris. I got your voicemail. I did get your voicemail. We were just rushing on air last night. Well, thank you very much. I did get your voicemail. And JA?
Was there anything that was really surprising for you both?
Yes, Asuka's brand new face paint going back to her old gimmick. That was very surprising for me. And Gunther lasting over an hour. That was surprising. That was very surprising. And Brock being eliminated so quick was also surprising.
I was surprised that
Oh, and Chris, hold on one second. Chris actually brought the same thing up. Lashley
Lashley eliminating
eliminating
Lesnar.
Lesnar. Hilarious. Yes, that
Yeah.
was so quickly. I was laughing my rear end off. Jack, what were you saying?
Yeah, that was long overdue, by the way. Nice to see Lashley kind of get a one up on him. I was really surprised, and I hope this isn't due to an injury, but the way Kofi Kingston seemed to botch that spot, and understandably so, on the chair. There was like a mobile chair on the outside. I was expecting like they were going to say, "Oh, the 1 foot landed on the chair, didn't land on the floor," and he'd wheel himself back in the ring. But that it was much like the Rey Mysterio entrance. That it was sort of like, is this for real? Because they just played his music, and then Ray or Notorious DOM comes out and tears up the mask, which was cool and made sense. But like Kofi, that whole situation seemed like it just was a botch, right? I mean, what did you think of that?
It was a definite botch. Because I watched the footage again, he hit that table hard and didn't move. And you did not even see him leave the ring.
Right.
You didn't see, I mean, they just took him away.
Yeah.
And so it was a definite botch, and he's hurt. So and they were. I read an article the next day that they're telling him he needs to retire that spot. He just can't do it anymore. Two
Yeah.
years in a row that he messed, and this one. Well, I mean, he hit that table hard, Jack. We all heard it. It was really, really hard how he hit it,
Yeah. It
and
wasn't pleasant to watch.
no, not at all. I mean, his foot was like quivering. It was twitching when he hit his head that hard. It was bad. Neil comes in with another comment.
Neil says Uncle Howdy dropping a 10-foot elbow surprised me. Yeah, but they had like a bunch of padding under the stage. That was like a Chris Jericho off the cage in AEW. Yeah, it was fun. I also kind of didn't quite understand what that was about. Maybe we're gonna make sense of it at some point.
Mm.
Unfortunately, he didn't time it all that well, so it looked like he barely touched him. But
Yeah,
you know,
yeah, but Do you, I'll have to give LA Knight and Bray Wyatt a lot of credit for that match. It was just, it was amazing. It really, really was.
Oh, you know what? Can I say one more thing that surprised me? JA asked that question. I was really surprised, and not in a great way, that they didn't have NXT men in the men's Royal Rumble the way they
Yes.
did the women in the women's Royal Rumble, which I loved seeing. Zoe Starks and indie wrestling, and seeing those guys at the Rumble was phenomenal. But now it's like, well, where were the men? Because there were several of them we expected to make an appearance. We didn't get
Yeah,
any.
Cameron Grimes I called, and
Yeah.
no, he did not show up at all. Eric comes in and says,
Oh, Eric,
uh,
yeah. We were kind of grimacing and screaming about that too. Kevin Owens' head off the steps with stomach turning. And that was really rough.
that match was brutal. I mean, what they did to Kevin Owens, what Roman Reigns did to Kevin Owens during that match was absolutely, it was a brutal match. What the Usos did to Kevin Owens was brutal. And not just what they did to Sami Zayn afterwards. It was just they went to they went from being so well liked because of Sami Zayn, and we talked about this many times here on the podcast and on the TV show. Um, they went from being so well liked and Roman that where no matter what they did and who they worked with, the crowd was behind them, laughing, giggling. After what they did to Sammy, we can't say it here on the air, but what the crowd was chanting to
Yeah.
Roman, it was like, oh my lord. I couldn't believe it. And Kevin Owens being handcuffed to the ring and just everybody. And even uh, Jay Uso one more time with the super kicks. Those super kicks must have been stiff because they beat the crap out of him. And then
Yeah.
it's poor Sammy. I mean, my lord, it was just crazy. Eric comes back in and says best damn storyline in wrestling. Period. Yeah, for sure. I 100% agreed. I mean, every week when they started doing something to Sammy, you were like, "Oh, come on!" You had that pit in your stomach because you were rooting for Sammy, and now here you are this past Saturday night. They beat the poor guy almost to death. It was just insane. So now, where does this lead us with the tag team championship?
Well, I was just going to say that. I mean, there's a few questions I was going to bring up tonight about tag team championships and one. So now, what do we do? Are we going to see the remaining evil Uso with Solo Sika to be the new Usos? Like, what's going on? Like, what are we doing with that tag team?
Oh no, I mean, in the past, let's go back to the past, and Eric is probably gonna be with me here, especially in Mid South's past. If a tag team breaks up, that tag team and their champions, tag team gets split. We have a tournament. The tag team, the championship becomes null and void. It has to be, you know, up for grabs. They have to have either the number one and number two contender have to have a match, or we have a tournament. That's the way it goes. That's the way it has to be.
Well, we
Because
also have the
if the tag team breaks up, they relinquish the title.
well, we
That's
have
the
the
way
we
the
have the
rule book says.
yeah, we got like the Freebird rule though, so maybe that's what they do.
Well, technically not. Because let's again go back to the rule book. Back in the day, Eric just brought up, but you have the Freebird rules. Yes, but back in the day, if we want to go with the Freebird rules, is Solo registered as a tag team wrestler? Don't forget, we did have the New Day bring that up once before. Do you have a tag? I forget who it was with, but they were going around asking someone if they had a tag team license, a license to be a tag team. Do you, who was it? I can't remember right now off the top of my head,
No,
but they
I
were.
mean it's all storyline anyway. So for me, that's kind of neither here nor
No,
there.
it's not. You shut your mouth. You just
I'll pretend I didn't hear that.
bastard. No, there's a rule book.
There is a rule
All
book.
right.
They don't always
So
stick to it
they
though.
don't have a license to be a tag team. They're not a licensed tag team, and I don't remember who it was. So Solo is he does he have a license to be a tag team? Doesn't know.
Well, either way. So what do we do with the Usos? Do they patch it up, or it is an interesting storyline, obviously, and there's a lot of directions they could take this now. Chris Ebert says Lewis going off the edge. Hey, he just went sailing off,
Uh,
Chris.
whatever.
Don't have all day.
Yeah, whatever. Um, how about this? How about if, say, Solo does get the tag team belt, and then say Jay teams up with Sammy and they go after the belts.
I don't know if I care, but sure. I mean, I don't know if that's going to be like a long-term thing. Maybe. Eric Hunting says it's up to the tribal chief. Yeah, I mean, I think that's more like what they're going to do. Chris
Yeah.
Ebert says, thank you, Jack. Yeah, I mean, who knows? I think they could take it in any direction, but I do think if I were the WWE coming off of such an incredible storyline that I think we all unanimously loved, I'd be really careful about the next steps that you can kind of take a few different avenues and stretch it out a little bit.
Yeah. Well, time will tell. I mean, they mentioned they'll be talking about it this Friday night on SmackDown.
I'm sure
So
they will.
we will see what happens. And I don't know if anyone out there caught this, but there was a dude in the front row corner, not Jack's guy wearing the shimmer suit in the front row that was dancing all night long.
That guy was awesome.
There was a guy that says Raw needs a working champion.
They
That
sure
sign,
do.
I love that sign. That was perfect. I hope that Cody and Roman do tear the house down. I think that is. I hope it's going to be a good match. I really do. What does Chris Hebert have to say?
Are they putting these kind of storylines together to make WWE appealing for sale? I mean, look, they just lucked into this, Chris. I don't think there was any way they figured out a way to make this incredible storyline in terms of making it more appealing for a sale. But it seems to have worked out that way. So if I were them, I'd be trying to keep that momentum going until Vince finally walks away with his big suitcase of cash. Joe McDonald says Owens and Zayn battle for the belts at Elimination Chamber, win by DQ and set up a rematch at Mania. I don't know. I mean, they are going to fight at Elimination Chamber, but do people want to see that 2 times in a row? And I don't know. Something Lewis and I pointed out, and I wonder what you all think. We didn't think that the crowd was really sincerely behind Cody Rhodes the way the WWE hoped they would be, despite the millions of video packages they threw at us.
Well, now Monday Night Raw, it was Cody versus Finn Balor, and
Right.
it was the same reaction. Now we did say, and I said, well, I wonder if Cody's going to get the Road Warrior pop. He didn't.
You didn't.
No, Rhea Ripley got the Road Warrior pop, and
Well deserved.
yes, and there was one other person that got the Road Warrior pop. It was like, crap, who was it, Jack? Do you recall? And we were like, now that's a Road Warrior pop. It was Bray when the lights went out and you saw the face paint.
Yeah, he got the reaction that they were expecting, and we expected it. We knew that was going to happen.
Yeah.
And Joe McDonald, who let Nia Jax back? Yeah, seriously.
She got a T-shirt. She has a T-shirt now too, and with that is crazy. It was pretty funny. It was pretty funny to see her. Biggest pop of the night was a chair shot heard around the world.
Oh, no doubt. I mean, there's nothing you were going to do to top that. That was the moment people were waiting for.
I just wish that chair shot was played a different way.
Yeah, no, you're
That's
right.
all.
It could have definitely been played better, 100%, no question about it. It was not the best execution, but whatever. It got us where we needed to go. It moved us
Hmm.
forward. So okay, yeah, it wasn't gold, but it was close enough. It was silver.
Yeah, yeah, it's true. Very, very true. But leading forward into Elimination Chamber, uh, um, Theory needs to go away. I just please. Actually, what I have to say is I hate that Logan Paul guy,
Ah,
but I was stunned. And I'm not a fan of Ricochet either, but with them two guys, no, I am not a fan of Ricochet. Not at all. But what I seen those two guys do
I'm gonna blast some aliens to Kingdom Come.
was amazing. What they did was simply amazing.
yeah.
The double coast to coast was just wow, absolutely crazy. Um, Joe McDonald says, "Hi, Chelsea Green. Thanks for coming." I think they did that on purpose, Joe, because if you watch Monday Night Raw, she does show up on Raw and she's claiming to be a big superstar, returning. She wanted Swiss chocolate, special bottled water. So I'm pretty sure she's going to be doing a lot of showing up and failing very quick. Um, and still making all these demands that she's a star. So wait to see how this storyline plays out. And Joe McDonald comes back and again. It says the chest bump heard round the world. Yeah, that was insane that those two guys did that. But I also like how they like how everyone jumped on him and beat the crap out of him.
Yeah.
That was like a blanket party without the blanket. And Joe McDonald says, yeah, they're making her their Karen. Pretty much. Pretty much. Jack, go ahead.
Yeah, Chelsea Green. Let's see where it goes. Really happy to see her back. Really bummed out to see Nia Jax back. Let's hope it's a one-time deal. We do not need Nia Jax back. But when you looked at the Royal Rumble, what a lineup of the women's roster. The only unpredictable thing about the entire show was that the men's Royal Rumble opened the show. I thought that was surprising to me. I love what they're doing with Notorious DOM. I think he is one of the best things going in WWE. Not
Hmm.
necessarily the best worker yet, but his storyline, the presentation is off the charts. Joe McDonald says women's roster was great, men's rumble was meh. Yeah, I mean the
Hmm.
men's rumble I thought was pretty good. It wasn't the best, but it was solid, man. That top to bottom talent. Really, again, surprised that Cameron Grimes and some of the other guys we talked about weren't there. I just don't get it. I don't know why that they didn't give them a chance.
Yeah, while we were eating dinner, I said Cameron Grimes was going to show up. I called Cameron Grimes, and I was kind of let down. Now that we were sitting here talking about it, I'm kind of let down that he wasn't there because I wasn't paying attention that he did not show up because
Yeah,
I was more, watching the action.
Carmelo
Uh,
Hayes. I mean, there's so many guys who are like, what the hell are they waiting for? I don't understand
mhm.
what those guys are wasting time in NXT for anymore. It's a waste of time. Joe McDonald says Rhea had a great comment in the presser how there needed to be NXT guys in the men's rumble. Yeah, 100%. And Joe said he called Grimes and Hayes. Eric Hunting NXT event this Saturday. Oh, Eric, you're right. I thought that was
Yes,
just
that's
on the regular Wednesday show, but there's an additional
no.
event on Saturday.
There's a pay per view or a premium event on this Saturday. Stand and Deliver, I believe.
And then Steiner Jr., I mean, he's another guy who anytime could come up,
Steiner Jr.
right? I
I,
mean,
I
any of those guys.
Well, Steiner Jr. or Braun Breaker, he
Prawn
he
Breaker.
needs to
Such a
find
silly
his
name.
own. It is. He Vengeance. Thank you, Eric. Eric, correct me. I stand corrected. Why did I said stand and deliver, didn't
You
I?
did.
Okay. He reminds me way too much of his dad and his uncle, and I I don't know if it's just me or if anyone else feels the same way, but I got to get past that, and I can't.
I mean, I guess we just have to give it time. That's all there is to it. Joe McDonald, quote unquote, technically they had NXT guys in the Rumble, New Day rocks. Yeah. And you know what? I was really surprised to see that both of them were in there because Apollo Crews was supposed, or not Apollo Crews, sorry. Oh my God. I was going to call him Consequences Creed. What the hell are they calling him in NXT? Kofi's partner. Oh my God. I'm totally spaced on his name.
Xavier Woods.
Xavier Woods. He wasn't cleared to compete, so he must have gotten cleared last minute to be in the Rumble. Those guys, I mean, amazing. Sorry, I call them consequences again. Amazing to see them.
Austin Creed or Xavier Woods.
I know. I like Consequences Creed better, but Xavier Woods. Glad to see him back. It's great. I love that those guys are doing what they're doing in NXT, giving the rub to a lot of other teams and performers. But yeah, technically, I guess they were there. But Kofi's such a staple of the Royal Rumble. It seems weird to do it without him.
Yeah, but he was, I don't know, that spot, he's got seriously hurt. I mean,
Yeah.
he hit the ground and did not move. And it was loud. I think it was as loud as those stair shots that KO took.
And you know who I felt bad for? And not that, he hasn't put himself in a position to receive it, but Cody Rhodes got battered by Gunther. I mean, those chops and shots he was hitting him with were so hard, and especially considering him coming back from a severely torn pectoral. That was kind of hard to watch. It got to the point where like, wow, is there like real heat or is this just him being who he is? That was rough.
I think it's just Gunther being who he is. I mean, the dude is a beast.
He is.
And I mean, him and Braun Strowman actually went at it too. Everybody that went up to Gunther, Gunther was given stiff shots. There was nobody that was not getting a stiff shot. I mean, Sheamus and Drew, stiff shots. Everybody was going after Gunther. And that dude was, at the end, I was like, maybe Cody ain't going to win because this guy's been in the ring for a long friggin' time. And I was kind of bummed out that Gunther didn't win. I was like, wow, because he put on one hell of a performance. And he got respect from a lot of people.
He's a one-of-a-kind performer, man. Like, do you think we're going to see Gunther versus Brock at Mania?
No, I think we're going to see Lashley against Brock again. That's what I think.
Gunther going against?
Braun Strowman, probably.
Oh, no, stop.
Yeah.
Eric Hunting says Gunther was on fire. 100%, man. I got to tell you something. Lewis will vouch for me. I was wearing my Ring General shirt for the event.
Actually, everybody in the layer had, everyone at the house had a wrestling. Even Rose had her man shirt on.
That's right.
The Becky Lynch man. I think Gunther is probably going to go up against Braun because anybody else will be a squash for him.
Then why did they already do it on SmackDown? That's already happened.
True. I don't know.
I mean, who's Brock in a fight that's interesting? We've already seen him versus Lashley. Not that I wouldn't want to see it again, but I don't know. I guess we got to think about that one. If you guys have any thoughts, tell us. Joe McDonald says, do you think they might split the belts for 2 nights? Jay on night 1 and Cody on night 2? Geez, I don't know. Joe McDonald, give us Sheamus Gunther 2. Oh my God!
Well, we already had 2. That would be Sheamus Gunther 3 because they had a rematch. Yeah, they had a rematch on SmackDown. I think that would be good billing.
Yeah,
that would be fantastic billing for Sheamus Gunther 3. Yeah, that's a main event. That's a Mania main event right there. That would be awesome. But I don't know. Now, let's talk about the Ladies Rumble again. Rhea made history. And now I said this Saturday night. She was the first woman to come in at number 1 to win. She made history that night. But
Mm.
now we're getting Rhea versus Charlotte again. So what's going to happen with the Judgment Day then? Even though Judgment Day jumps back and forth between Raw and SmackDown. But
Doesn't
we
matter.
didn't have a draft this year. So it really doesn't matter where anybody goes because
No.
everyone's jumping all over the place.
Yeah, there's no
Which
real
I
branch.
like. Yeah, which I like. I don't like the I don't like the brand exclusives. I don't like the draft. I like it where you don't know who is going to show up.
Yeah, I
Uh, the,
agree.
the one person I did miss at this year's Rumble was AJ Styles. I missed him not being there. We all know he's injured, but I missed not seeing the phenomenal one. I really did miss not seeing him there.
So you mentioned Rhea. I don't
Mhm.
know how they could get away with not booking Rhea to win at this point because she lost to Charlotte last time at Mania.
Correct. Yeah.
So her losing twice, and ultimately, I think we all also know it's almost like kind of a chuckle that they're ultimately just trying to get Charlotte to get more championships than her father, right? I mean that's where we're going with
Agreed.
this. So
Agreed. And that's that. See, there's always been to me. Maybe it's a running joke, and I bring this up all the time. I don't care how many championships you got. 13-time champion, 17-time champion. You're a 17-time champion. That's great. That means you lost the damn thing 16 times. Plain and simple. You're a 16-time loser. That's what you
right,
are.
you could look at it that way for sure.
Yes.
Joe McDonald says Poochie will end up at least equal to her dad. I think she's going to win it. I mean, I outdo him because Cena was the one who we thought originally they were going to have outdo Flair, and then they never did it. Eric Hunting says Rhea's promo on Raw was great. Yeah, man, she's firing on all cylinders. I think Rhea, this is her time. They gotta have her go over at Mania.
Yeah. See, I contribute all this to Judgment Day. Judgment Day is one of the top factions that we got right now. It's because they did wonders for Dom, and now Rhea working with Dom. It's great.
Yeah.
It's like just like the Bloodline right now. You have Priest, you have Balor, you got Rhea, you got Dom, and it is just entertaining to watch as long as they keep Edge out of there and his wife. They
Oh,
are just scary to
please.
look at. Please, to see Beth Phoenix, it was just like get her off the TV and bring her back to the Road Warrior Mad Max set where she belongs. It was just scary to look at. I mean, last night on Raw or tonight on Raw when I watched it, just scary to look at. Please get her off my TV set. She like Hacksaw Jim Duggan's little sister. Just get
Oh,
her out of here, please.
Jesus. Yeah,
Yes.
I'm all set with both of them. I love that Edge came back. Don't get me wrong, but it's enough. Okay, let's know when the party's over. Bill Anderton says Judgment Day has redirected Dom towards greatness.
Yes.
100%, 100%, Bill. I
Yes. I
couldn't
mean,
agree more.
I totally agree with you. I mean, it was just yes, for sure. For sure. And Eric says, wow. And
Neil says
my
I don't
son wrote a book. What the hell,
I
boy?
know. Good Lord. Let me get my glasses on here. I don't think Charlotte will lose the belt, especially with this being her first real defense. Plus, she has her family, her family has too much pull. I don't see where the storyline can end with Rhea being in Judgment Day while having the belt. I'll tell you what, Neil, here's what I think. Rhea is definitely going to win the belt, and the storyline goes to her defending it against a man, and we finally see a long overdue mixed match, which, I know we've had triple threats and all that, but here we go. Rhea Ripley defending against could be some guys. I think there's plenty of places for it to go. Maybe, who knows? There's even against Edge. Wouldn't Lewis love to see Rhea Ripley beat Edge into retirement?
Yes, I would. I would, because she already did almost. So I would love to see that. As long as they don't bring back Santino Morella. Remember when they did?
I think he's signed to Impact. You're safe.
Okay, good, because yeah.
But
Oh
they'll
my.
take somebody who they don't care about, like Cedric Alexander, who I think is a mega talent and they're really wasting his talent. But somebody like Cedric Alexander on Monday Night Raw some night, Rhea Ripley goes in there, pummels him, and pins him. I mean, I feel like the time is right. Like, when are we ever going to do this? Like in the indies, it's no big deal when we've got mixed gender matches, and there's so much potential to do
Well,
big
we
money
already
matches.
had that too in the WWE way back in the '90s when China beat up Double J Jeff Jarrett. That's JEFFJARRETT Jeff Jarrett. Uh-oh, Jack,
Yellow.
are you ready? Because it's time for old school trivia, brought to you by Alternate Universe LLC, Milford and New Haven. Every Wednesday is New Comic Book Day. Make sure you go there. Tell them that the Angry Geeks and Faces and Heels sent you. New Comic Book Day every Wednesday. Tell Eric that the Faces and Heels said hi. It's time for old school trivia. Are you ready, Jack?
I'm as ready as I was last week.
All right. Which of the following groups was not a real tag team? The Space Invaders, Batman and Robin, the Wolfman and the Bearman, the Conquistadors, or the Queen's Men? Which of the following groups was not a real tag team? The Space Invaders, Batman and Robin, the Wolfman and the Bearman, the Conquistadors, or the Queen's Men?
Now, is this strictly WWE?
No, this is all throughout wrestling.
All throughout wrestling. Wow. Okay.
Was not Joe McDonald comes in and says Space Invaders.
Oh, Bill. This is funny. There's some funny comments happening. Oh man. I mean, I want to say Batman and Robin. You spelled Batman with 2 T's, so I don't know what that means, but I believe Batman and Robin was number 2, so I'm gonna go with Batman and Robin.
Oh,
I'll pretend I didn't hear that.
you are incorrect. And Eric Hunting is incorrect. Joe McDonald is incorrect. The tag team on here that is not a real tag team was the Queen's Men. There was never a tag team called the Queen's Men. Batman and Robin was a luchador tag team in the 70s. The Wolfman and the Bearman, yes, they were a tag team in the 70s until the Bearman tragically passed away. Of course, we all know who the Conquistadors were and the Space Invaders. They were a tag team, and actually, the Dynamite Kid was one of them. The Queensmen was never a tag team. Thanks again for playing. We had no winners tonight. So sorry.
I'm a consistent loser at this game.
The Batman and Robin tag team was really bizarre. Two luchadors. And yeah, they actually spelled Batman with 2 T's. The Wolfman and the Bearman. Wolfman kind of freaked me out when I was little because he used to actually pull down the trunks of the guy and bite his rear end. Very bizarre. Yes. Very, very bizarre. And inside the Wrestler magazine, you would pick it up and see these guys. Very, very weird. And just bizarre.
Wow.
Very bizarre.
You would think these guys
Joe
were Ric
McDonald.
Flair or Shawn Michaels. Those guys like to bare their buttocks in the ring.
Yeah. Joe McDonald said, "Me too, Jack."
Yeah, right on, Joe. Right on. Appreciate it.
Yeah, tune in every week as Alternate Universe LLC brings you old school trivia.
Thanks, Eric. Thanks for funding this humiliation for me every week.
Oh, fountain of useless information. Yes, and yeah, I'll never forget when I was first schooled on tag team wrestling and where I came up with that. I was sitting at the dinner table with my dad. My cousin Buddy came in. What a stack full of wrestling magazines, and I was like, "Batman was a wrestler." And yeah, there he was with Robin, and the picture was Robin was posing, and there was these two girls admiring Robin's bicep. Um, Eric Hunting, I think Jack, is that question for you or for me? I think it's for me.
I think it's probably for you. Eric Hunting asks, was that your finisher when you wrestled?
No, it was not. It was not my finisher.
Well, what was it?
And what was my finisher? Well, it
Yeah.
depended on who I was, what character I
Well,
was.
give us one.
Okay. I had the steel trap, which was kind of like a sharpshooter, but it was a submission and pin together. And the other one, when I was my favorite character, my heel, it was the backstreet drop, flying elbow off the top rope.
Wow, I wonder where you got that one from.
Yeah, I wonder where.
Yeah, good
And
inspiration.
Neil comes in and said the Hawaiian stump.
The Hawaiian
And
stump.
yeah. And no, Neil, you can't. The Samoan stump is another one that I did, and he can never remember the name. I tried to teach my son the Samoan stump, and he calls it the Hawaiian stump. And
Okay.
I actually put Neil in it one day.
Nice. Stretch him out.
Yes. Yeah. And what does Joe McDonald have to say?
Joe McDonald said he watched a great Beyond event on Sunday after the Rumble. Main event was Leo Rush against the Prize City OG. Wow, because we had
Oh.
Leo Rush at Wrestling Open against
Mhm.
one half of the Miracle Generation, Dustin Waller, Flash Dustin Waller.
And what did Neil says?
Yes, my back still has nightmares.
That's what you get, boy. Come home more often. And so, anyway, stay tuned next week. Jack, we have a guest next week. Do we or do we not?
We do. We have guests for the next 2 weeks, as a matter of fact. And then, due to me taking a 3-year belated vacation, we're going to actually be going on a 2-week hiatus, and then we'll have more guests after. Next week is going to be the guy. Jack Dalton is going to be our guest next week. And then following that, on Valentine's Day, we've got none other than Love Doug.
Okay. Now, do we have a special start time?
Oh, that's a good question. I think next week it's 7:45 instead of 7. Let me just double check that. Good Lord. Yeah, 7:45. I'm sorry. Thank you for bringing that up. We're going to be a little late starting. 7:45 to 8:45. Thank you for remembering that, Lewis. Next week. And then we're back to normal for Love Doug at 7 p.m. on Valentine's Day, the 14th.
And Jay, don't worry about it. You're always welcome. Please come back every Tuesday night. And we still got 10 more minutes, brother. Don't go anywhere. We're still going to be talking Royal Rumble. We're still going to be talking Elimination Chamber for the next 10 minutes on the road to WrestleMania. So please stay tuned. And Joe McDonald says, Love Doug. Yes,
All
he will be with
capitals.
us. All capitals. So, Jack, what is your predictions on other matches we're going to see at Elimination Chamber?
I haven't even thought too much about it. You know what? I got to tell you what's on my mind, though, just because we were on the
Your money?
tag teams. Yeah, my mind on my money, on my money on my mind. No, we were talking about tag teams. What are we going to do at Ring of Honor with the Briscoes? Because I thought it was so great seeing Mark
Man,
Briscoe bring his brother's belt
it,
and throw it in the ring. That was amazing. But we got the Ring of Honor event coming up, and got to address it at some point. And I wonder, what's going to happen with the tag team titles at Ring of Honor?
well, I was in disbelief when you text me. I was sleeping, and you woke me up. You shot me over the text, and I was like, I read it, and I was like, Jerry Briscoe died a long time ago, Jack. What are you talking about? And then I rolled over, went back to sleep, and then I woke up, and I'm like, did I read that wrong? And then I was flooded. My phone, I put the ringer out. My phone was flooded. And I was like, oh my God. It was just, heartbreaking. It was like, oof. Never thought that would happen. I think, once again, a tournament. They're going to have a tournament. Everything. You know?
Joe McDonald said, I got the info and immediately messaged Jack, who had just got the same message. Yeah, I was like going back and forth with people. I'm trying to confirm it because I was hearing it from different sources, but I didn't know if it was for real. I was in shock too. I was like, there's no way. Jay Briscoe, he just won the tag titles. Like, what's going on? But you never know in life, right?
Mm-hmm. For sure. Again, it's going to be always a tournament. That what else can they do? It's always a tournament.
Yeah.
They
I mean, AEW likes tournaments, and the Ring of Honor, I guess the new show's starting soon, right? On this Ring of Honor network, which if they finally get their act together and put the pay-per-views on live, like I'll subscribe. But maybe that's where they're going to debut it. The new show, they'll have the tournament for the tag titles.
I don't see myself getting that app only because if I pay money for an app, I want the premium events right away.
Of course.
You know, I don't want to wait 18 months to watch it.
I know.
You know, it's like, hey, I got HBO Max. Okay, well, I want to watch The Last of Us or the DCU stuff now. I don't want to wait till next year when everyone else already watched it. It's bad enough that, you know, HBO Max releases The Last of Us at 9 o'clock at night and not 12 o'clock in the morning like most places. So it's, yeah, so the Ring of Honor or AEW with the Ring of Honor, they're doing things so ass backwards with that. It's just insane.
Yeah, it's too bad because I'm really excited about the new Ring of Honor show, but it's not enough for me to pay $10 a month for it. It just isn't.
I mean, you cannot beat $10 a month, but is it really worth it?
Well, WWE spoiled us, right? I mean, ultimately, WWE's network is what set a standard that, unfortunately, for better or for worse, whatever anyone wants to think, that is the barometer. Ultimately, is like, oh, I'm paying $10 for the WWE network, and at one point you were getting indie wrestling, you were getting NXT. There was a lot of
Mm-hmm.
content there. It was all sorts of stuff, and I understand that the Ring of Honor app has all the back catalog, which is super cool too. I'd love to go back and see the stuff I missed. But for me, like, I don't know, man. I got IWTV. I got more than I can watch there already. I gotta have those premium events or pay-per-views or whatever you want to call them.
Exactly. Exactly. I mean, I missed the WWE network. It was really it was cool. I mean, yeah, I know it's still technically on with Peacock and you get more with Peacock, but the WWE network was awesome.
It
You know, you
was
didn't have to search for anything. It was like bam, right there in your face. Joe McDonald comes in and says,
$10 a month and all existing pay-per-views from the library, but that can only take you so far. Yeah, Joe,
correct.
totally agree. And Joe says, I got my money on IWTV like Jack. Yeah, IWTV
Yeah.
is awesome, man. Like if I have free time that I don't need to do something, it's just, what do I watch? It's not even a question of, is there anything? It's like, what could I possibly, what's going to float to the top for me to choose?
Yeah, correct. I mean, it's like you also have the spoilers out on YouTube if you want to can't wait for something for the Ring of Honor pay per view. They have highlights. They have everything. I do want to say one thing about the Royal Rumble that I did laugh about was Jack's um, prediction of one Will Ospreay. Told you he wasn't going to show up.
Hey, don't be squashing my dreams,
I'm
man.
not squashing your dream. I'm just telling you. I told you so. There's a difference.
Look,
Squashing your dream is this, and I told you so is. Told you so. It's different.
Will Ospreay, it does not. I mean, it stands to reason that at this
Really,
point in
Wanka?
his career, he'd be showing up in WWE. Go fight Seth Rollins. Like, when are you gonna do it? This guy doesn't have an eternal career with the kind of matches he has.
I
Come
know.
on, like let's figure it out. Joe McDonald says Ospreay Rollins, book it. That's what I'm saying,
Yeah,
Joe. Like,
yeah.
come on,
Everybody is saying that. I know. That's why I
let's
wanted to
do
bring
it.
that up.
We got
That
so many other
is,
matches too.
I know. No, that is a definite dream match for sure. Will we ever have it? Don't know. Don't know. But will Triple H book him?
Hey, you know who else is coming back to the States is Kota Ibushi, and he's going to be
Really?
wrestling at GCW. He's going to be making American appearances in the next few months. So we might actually see him on AEW too. Who knows? I don't think you're going to see him on WWE TV, but we can dream.
Okay.
We saw
All
him
right,
there
we'll
once.
see. Once?
Yeah, the Cruiserweight
Once.
tournament.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
I mean, he appeared a
Yeah.
few times, but it was for one event.
Okay. All right, Jack, we got 5 minutes left. What do you want to do?
Well, I want to say this. Okay, MLW was really looking forward to Delmi Exo getting the title match against Taya Valkyrie, and now all of a sudden it looks like it's Delmi versus Becca, which I'm still into, but I'm kind of disappointed for Delmi not getting the title match. I don't know why that changed, so I don't know if anyone who's listening is into MLW and watches regularly, but that was coming up, I think, February 4th, if I'm not mistaken. Am I wrong about that? Sunday, I think it was supposed to be this Sunday. And now all of a sudden it's Becca versus Delmi, which will be great. Don't get me wrong. But I was really hoping to see that MLW Gold coming back to East Hampton, Mass.
So is Taya hurt, or is she just afraid of our friend?
That could very well be, Lewis. You might be tuning in. I don't know the answer. There was really no fanfare around it. It was just all of a sudden, hey, Becca debuting in MLW against Delmi Exo. And it was like, hey, wait, doesn't she have a title match already?
Well, maybe I can call my therapy partner and ask him what's going on with his wife. For those of you, there's an inside joke between Jack and I and the rest of my family. It's a very bizarre event. Jack, please tell everyone where they can find you. Get some great artwork because Valentine's Day is just in a couple of weeks. And what better way to say I love you than giving someone some original art? And Alyssa, you made her cry with a piece of your art. So, what better way to make your loved one cry on Valentine's Day? What a piece of original art. Jack, please tell everyone where they can go and get some of your art.
That's right. Bring your partner some tears of joy for God's sake. Like, forget about the cheap roses. Don't do it. Even the expensive.
Hey, roses are cheap.
No, not your rose. Talking red roses on Valentine's Day. Have some class. Have some originality. Come up with something better. Be better. So you can get any commissions from me. You can contact me, Jack Purcell, Inc. INK on Instagram and Facebook. Patreon.com. Just search me up there. I'm there. And if you're looking for something specific, we can make it happen. Although the clock is ticking, right? Because tomorrow's February. So there's not a lot of time left. So if you're looking for something fun, we can make it happen. So original art, that would be phenomenal. But more importantly than that, next week, make sure you're here. As Lewis reminded us all, it's 7:45 because we've got the guy, Jack Dalton. And if you don't know his work already, make sure you're here next week. I think this is somebody you're going to be seeing a lot more of all over the place. And people like Axel who've just tuned in, they know who he is. So Jack Dalton. And then again on Valentine's Day, we're celebrating with Pro Wrestling's Cupid, Love Doug, which should be amazing. And then we're taking a 2-week hiatus. So we'll talk more about March as the time comes around. But Lewis, where can we find you on social media?
Well, you can find me every Monday night with my sister from another mister, that Wonder Woman, Jamie Dolan, and our sidekick, Quinderella, on the Angry Geek Show. And you can find me every Tuesday night right here with my brother from another mother, the one and only tag team like no other, Ink Slinging Jack Purcell, as we are the Faces and Heels podcast, where we bring you all the talk about professional wrestling, the indies, the pros, the big two. That's right. It's me and you every Tuesday night. And you can find us on Pod TV. You can find us on Public Access TV. And you can find us on wherever you find your favorite podcast versions. If you're driving down the road and you got nothing to listen to and you're tired of listening to music, just click on your podcast. You know, if you have the little Android thing in your car or the Google thing in your car, click on your podcast, say, hey, Google, play the Angry Geek Show Network. And boom, guess what? We all pop up and you can listen to us right there. And just for a reminder, you can find me here.
been watching The Angry Geek Show on Pod TV. Visit our website today. And for guest bookings, email us at theangrygeekshow@gmail.com today.